Hey friends, it's Corey from Hey Let's Make Stuff, back with another YouTube doubleheader. So you may have come to my video from Angie Holden's video. Today we are sharing 20 tips for helping your small craft business make money. If you are joining us live, welcome. We are so glad you are here. Angie and I are both over in the chat, chatting with you guys about making money with your crafts. If you are not here for the premiere and you're watching this later, welcome as well. You can go ahead and leave any comments or questions down in the comment section. Angie gave you 10 really great tips for making money with your crafts, and I hope my 10 tips help you as well. If you want to dive deeper into making money with your crafts, I invite you to join me and Angie for Crafting for Profit Camp. We are hosting this event for the second time. It's January 25th through 27th, 2024, and we are going to be having a whole bunch of teachers come in and teach you how to make money with your crafts. So what I'm giving you today here is sort of an overview, but if you want to dive deeper on any of these topics, you can do a Google search or you can join us for Crafting for Profit Camp. Are you ready? Let's start with number one. Number one for me is always mindset. So you need to get your brain in a place of making money. So I know this sounds very woo-woo and like power of positive thinking and all of that. However, from my own personal experience, I tend to dwell on the difficult parts of things. So I tend to dwell on how well other people are doing or how difficult this particular task is, and oh my god, I have to do taxes and all of these things, and it can really mess with my mindset. So over the last year or so, I have really been trying to cultivate a more positive business mindset. I try to go into each day understanding that there are difficult parts of my business, but I am a strong and capable woman and I can do them. And I also want to make sure that I'm not focusing on those negatives. Yes, there are days that are harder than other days. Yes, there are things about my business that I don't like nearly as much as other things, taxes being a huge part of that. But there is so much that I do love, and so I've been trying, especially in this last year, to focus more on those positive things, and overall it has really helped with my mindset about my whole business in general. I could really get down, especially last year. I had a very difficult year last year, and I feel like I spent a lot of time sort of down in the dumps because I just could not seem to get my mind wrapped around that I had this beautiful, thriving business. And although there are hard parts, and yes, people are doing better than me, and they have more followers and all of these things, I still have a really great business. And so I've really been shifting my mindset, and I think that's a really great place to start when you're first starting out on your craft business journey. So if you're just starting out with your craft business, or if you've been running it a while, but you can feel that negativity creeping in, I would highly recommend reaching out to some, mindset resources. There are lots of YouTube videos. We also have Nicole Baker as part of Crafting for Profit Camp. She is a business coach, and she's really big into mindset. And so she has some pretty inexpensive courses and things that you can take, but I really feel like mindset is a great place to start in order to make money in your craft business. The second thing I highly recommend is getting your business finances in order. I know that this is one of those boring things that you might find stressful. It might lead you to that negative mindset, but getting your business finances in order is a really important step to running a successful business. So for example, you'll probably want to open up a separate business bank account, and you'll want to keep your business funds and your personal funds separate. And if you have a very small business, you might be thinking, why do I need to do that? It's just so much more helpful come tax time, and if your business continues to grow, you are going to want that separation. You may want to meet with a CPA just to make sure that you're getting all of your finances in order, and then you'll want to keep up with your accounting. You'll also want to set up some sort of business accounting software. I use Wave. I really love it. There's QuickBooks. There are other options, but you want to make sure you are tracking your business expenses as well as the money coming in and applying it all to your business. Now I can say that accounting is absolutely not my favorite part of the job. It's something that at some point I probably will outsource, but for now I still do it all myself. I am not a numbers person. I am an English major all the way. And so it is a difficult piece for me, but keeping on top of those finances is so important because then you know what money is coming in, what money is going out. That's even more important. And if you don't have a system that you're working in, that is much harder to figure out. Number 3 is find your niche. So when I first started my blog, I had an Etsy shop, and I was making all sorts of sewn projects for my Etsy shop. I was blogging about sewing, crafting, Cricut, recipes, travel, how to be a mom of twins. I mean, I was all over the place, and I just wasn't really making any progress in any one direction. So in 2015, I actually niched down. So I decided I am going to focus on basically crafting tech. I'm going to focus on the machines used in crafting, Cricut, laser, sublimation. Sublimation wasn't really a thing then for crafters, but that's part of what I do. And those sorts of things. And I really honed in on this is where I'm going to place my expertise. I'm going to become the person who knows these machines intimately and teaches people how to use them. And once I sort of niched down, people knew that they were coming to me for crafting machines. They knew that they weren't going to get a recipe. They weren't going to get about my trip to Paris. I've never been to Paris, but you know what I mean. They knew that they were going to get crafting machines when they came to my channel or my blog or my social media content. It's the same for a small crafting business. You want to be known for what you do in your industry. So you can niche down kind of in one of two ways. You can niche down by product, meaning that you're only going to make drinkware, for example, or you're only going to make clay earrings, or you're only going to make bags. Or you can niche down by sort of style. So you're going to make, a wide variety of sublimation products, but perhaps they're all geared toward teachers. Either way will work, but you want to make sure that you have a particular audience member in mind. You have that particular teacher or that particular pet owner or that particular woman who wears those particular bags. That sort of thing, so that you know exactly who your customer is, and they'll be able to find you much more easily than they would if you had a whole wide range of products and they have to dig through everything to find what they are specifically looking for. Number 4 is sort of adding value to your niche and your products. So let's go back to that teacher example. Let's say that you make teacher sublimation products. Now you could just sell 20-ounce tumblers, mugs, signs, all sorts of things, but you can add value to those that make them different from other people selling similar things online. So let's say you make a really cute teacher mug that a parent maybe could buy for a teacher. I know teachers, don't come at me. I know you have enough mugs, but just roll with me for this example. So say you had a teacher mug, but you could also fill it with things that the teacher really needs: pencils, markers, dry erase markers, and of course a gift card. You can make your own little gift card holder that you could put in there, and then the person who buys the mug can then add their own gift card. Something like that makes it a much better teacher gift than it would if it was just the mug itself. So find ways to add value. Maybe you make big wooden signs on your laser, but maybe you're adding paper flowers to it to give it to some dimension or something like that. Just add something that sets you apart and takes you up a notch compared to everything else that's out there. Number 5 is pricing. Now, I'm not going to go into how to price your products here because there's a lot that goes into it, but you do need to price your products both competitively and so you'll make money. And that is a very difficult balance, especially when there are so many people and a lot of people undersell themselves. So I'm going to recommend a product here. My friend Courtney at the Crafty Brick has a pricing calculator and it's really good. So I'm just going to link that down in the description. She helps you walk through everything you need to be able to price your products both competitively and so you'll make money. And I think that is really the best place to start than just sort of slapping a price on something and hoping that you're getting it right. You want to make sure that your time and materials are covered with profit in the end. And then we come to number 6, which is creating a strong brand. This is actually my personal favorite thing to do. I honestly feel like if I wasn't doing this crafting thing, I would be in branding. So in my former life, before I quit my job in 2013 to do this full time, I actually worked for a marketing company and we worked with a Fortune 500 company's brand. And I learned from them basically the basics of creating a really, really strong brand. And this is something that I think is so important for crafty small businesses. There are so many crafty small businesses out there. The competition is everywhere. We know that. So how can you set yourself apart? You can set yourself apart in your branding. So you can set yourself apart in the colors that you use, the way that you photograph your products, the way that your website looks, the way that you've designed your Etsy shop. All of these things, the more cohesive and beautiful they are, the more they're going to grab somebody's attention and they'll probably be more likely to buy from you than from some random hodgepodge shop that doesn't have any sort of cohesive look to it. I am so passionate about branding that I actually created a short little course called Crafting Your Signature Style. I feel like I'm selling you a lot in this video and I don't normally do that, but it is what it is. So Crafting Your Signature Style is all about visual branding for small businesses. And it goes into 10 different areas where you can make your branding better. You can really stand out from the crowd. I'm actually really proud of this course. I will go ahead and link it in the description along with a discount for you guys because I really feel like branding is a great place to put some of your time and energy when you're creating your business. Number 7 is be authentic. And I know the word authentic has probably been driven into the ground at this point, but I really do feel like being authentic is the number one way to connect with your audience. So maybe there are points that you can connect with people. Like if you're on my Instagram, you'll know that occasionally I will share content related to babies in the NICU. Does that have anything to do with crafting? Not really, but I had 2 babies in the NICU. And so I'm very, very passionate about NICU care. I'm very passionate about getting parents parents the care that they need in the NICU because I didn't have the best care while I was there. So these are things that are really important to me. I don't talk about them all the time, but sometimes I weave them into things like my Instagram stories just to give people a more personal connection to me. I mean, if you didn't have a baby in the NICU, you're probably like, oh, that's sad. But if you did, you're like, oh my gosh, she's my girl, right? Like, I feel like there's a special bond with NICU parents, and whatever you've gone through, and of course you don't have to share your trauma online. I'm not saying you should trauma dump online or whatever, but I do feel like finding those points of connection that are authentic and can really connect with your audience is such a good way to create that bond, because it's like, oh, she makes cute cups, but oh my gosh, she makes cute cups and she's really passionate about like pet rescue, right? So there's like the things that you can really connect on. And I think being authentic and just being yourself, getting yourself out there, it's very hard. Trust me, I do not like doing videos despite everything you see here. I do feel like trying to find those points of connection and being authentic with your audience is the #1 way to connect with them and to get them to buy your products. So number 8, I'm gonna totally change direction, and I'm going to say, set up your space for success. And I mean your physical space. So your studio, your dining table, wherever you're working, set it up in a way that works for you so that you can make your products quickly and easily. One of the biggest things I can recommend is having a table that is designated for nothing. So this is your work table, right? So I have this work table here. This table is designated for filming. I do work over here occasionally, but I have this same exact table over here on the other side of my room, and that is my work table. I've got tables with heat presses, I've got tables with machines, all sorts of other things, but that table is basically bare all the time except for whatever I'm working on in the moment. I don't use it for storage, I don't use it to hold any machines or anything. It is just for doing what I am doing in the moment. And having that extra table, I feel like has really made everything that I do here so much easier, just because it can be whatever I need it to be in the moment. So if your space allows it, I would recommend getting yourself a good size work table and designating it as your work table. Don't put anything else on it. It's just your table for doing what you need to do in that moment. Another thing in setting up your workspace for success is setting it up for your own health as well. I've talked about this several times. I have a chronic illness and it causes my body to ache a lot. So there are many things that I have done over the years to help alleviate some of that. I have a standing desk. I actually have a bike that goes under my desk so I can be moving my legs sometimes. I find that sitting in one position is very uncomfortable. So a lot of times I just need to be changing positions. I set a timer for 30 minutes and I work for 30 minutes. And then for 5 minutes, I get up and I move around. It's a little flip timer. Again, I will link that in the description, but basically I can flip it from the 5-minute timer to the 30-minute timer back and forth. And I do that all day. Work for 30 minutes, walk around and clean up for 5 minutes, or make myself lunch. I'll walk into my house and make our bed or water our plants. I just need my body moving every 30 minutes. And I find that that has helped so much with the pain that comes with crafting all the time or sitting at a computer all the time, which is the 2 things you're going to be doing the most as a crafty small business. Really, what you don't want is to be sitting for long periods of time because your body will start to feel it. So my recommendation is stand up every 30 minutes, walk around, move your bones, and you'll be so much better off physically and you'll be able to craft for much longer. Number 9 sort of builds on number 8, where you're setting up your space. Number 9 is about getting into a good flow. For me, this is primarily removing distractions. So of course, social media is the big distraction, right, for most of us. So when I am working or when I am crafting, I will actually turn off all my social media sites. I will sign out. So even if I wanted to sign back in, you know, it's more of a hassle. I will hide my phone. I will turn off my notifications just so I can actually get things done. And that allows my brain to get into that space of actually working. Now, again, like I said, I do get up every 30 minutes and walk around for 5 minutes, but I've been doing that long enough that it's finally starting not to break my flow. I'm working for 30 minutes, I stand up, I move around, and then I'm right back into it as I sit back down. I don't allow myself to get on social media. I don't allow myself necessarily to check my messages or email or anything like that during those 5 minutes. I have separate parts of my day for that. And because of that, I am able to get in a really nice flow when I am either crafting or I'm at my computer. And I do feel like getting rid of those distractions is so helpful. Now, as a mother of small children, I understand that it is not possible to always get away from all of the distractions. Some of my distractions are things I love the most in the world, those being my husband, my kids, and my dog. All of those are probably my biggest distractions. But we have worked out a pretty good system that when mommy's at work, dad's in charge, and my boys know that this is my job and that they need to give me some space. Are they in here sometimes? Yes, they are. Sometimes it's crazy, and sometimes I have to kick them out, and sometimes I feel bad, but this is my job, and I am with them, and I'm very present in the evenings and on weekends, and other times we are together, but This is what I do during my business day. So you may also need to set some boundaries, not just with social media, but with the people in your life. Then finally, let's do one about growth. So my number one tip about growing your business is to create an email list. Now, this sounds like some sort of advice you might get like in the 90s, like everybody needs an email list, right? And it is still my best piece of advice. And that is because your email list is not bound by an algorithm, right? You can post on social media, you can create a blog, you can create a YouTube channel, and all of that is dependent on other companies deciding that your content is going to rank or not rank, right? Email list is different. Email list shows up in their inbox. Yes, they still have to decide to click on it and open your email, but it will be delivered. And that is a really amazing thing to see, that your audience, all these people who liked you enough to opt into your list, are then getting your content. And that is a great way to promote your products. Obviously, it's a great way to promote any sort of new content you've created. If you're doing, blogging or YouTube content, it's a great way to promote any sales, all of those things directly into somebody's email box. Chef's kiss, there's no better way to do it. The best way to create an email list is to have some sort of downloadable freebie. And there are so many tutorials about how to do this online. There's so many ways to do it, whether it's just a little printable, an SVG file, anything like that that somebody can get for free in exchange for their email address is a great way to get people on your list. Then be consistent about emailing them, whether it's once a week, twice a week, once a month. You just want people to get used to seeing you in their inbox. And then finally, don't get sad when you get unsubscribes. Every time I send an email, I get between 200 and 400 people unsubscribing, which if I think about those numbers, sometimes I can really go into that dark place, which is why the mindset thing was first. Don't worry about it. Those are not your people. And if they are your people, they'll come back. But you're gonna at some point be paying for your email list, and you don't wanna be paying for people who don't wanna be there, who aren't opening your emails, who don't care about what you have. You wanna be speaking to the people who want to be there, and so don't get discouraged if you do see those unsubscribes. All right, those are my 10 tips for making money with your craft business. If you want to go deeper, you can always join us for Crafting for Profit Camp. I will go ahead and leave those details below. If you haven't watched Angie's video, I will go ahead and link to that one next, and I will also link it down in the description. If you have any questions or comments about making money with your small craft business, I would love to hear those down in the comments. Follow my channel for more weekly sublimation, Cricut, and laser content. I'll see you next week.